Yes.
Around Brooklyn. That's right. Around the city.
If you were in Brooklyn, you knew who we were once we hit that stage.
Yeah.
Once Heartbeat went on, that was it.
Oh, yes.
We had the whole crowd. I'm like, you understand just those little things,
Right.
encompass that village, which was extremely important then,
Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of A Maven's Tale. I am Chaya, your host, and I have the best show today because I am here with people that I've known all my life, pretty much all my life. This is the 399 episode. Yes, so I am here with my day ones, 399 being my primary elementary school. And I am here with some of the OGs. Okay, first in by graduating class, I have Miss Shemika Valentine.
Hey, how are you? It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to this conversation.
Thank you for being here. Next up, we got Shanah.
Really? Really?
Y'all know already from every other show.
From every other show.
And next up, we have with the curly Q's, Mrs. Kim Ventura.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
And last in, we have Mr. Last but not least, I should say, we have Mr. Lamar.
How y'all doing? Glad to be here.
I am so happy that we are here together. Since we can't have an actual family reunion, we are here on Zoom. So, I mean, we always talk about, Shanah and I always talk about our elementary school days and our growing up in Brooklyn as Black children in Flatbush. And we feel that we have an experience that is not like most. And I think we all can probably agree on that.
True.
That our growing up experience it's not really like what most people have. Not like what our children are getting, right?
True.
So let's start with Shemika. Since you were the very first graduating class of the school that we're talking about, 399, what was it like for you?
Are we talking what, over 34, 35 years ago? So, just to get you a clear picture of, traveling or being a travel child, what they call also latchkey children or things of that nature for us to really embellish in. I think then our parents, took a leap of faith because, we have so much technology now that we can keep up with our children. But in those days, we had a payphone far away.
Yes.
You called when you called.
As soon as you got there was, my mother used to, I don't care if you don't have a quarter, reverse the charges. That's what she used to, I remember those, all of this. Reverse the charges. Say, I like to speak to yourself. Whatever it is, I need to know wherever you are. And they took a leap of faith. And in that particular time, 399 was a leap of faith as they started. It was a total different, atmosphere, very calming as to what, we are in here today. As they say, railroad teaching, no walls in between classes. That was very, very, instrumental. And, just giving us a wealth of information at such a young age. Growing up in that time was, crime was very high.
Mm-hmm.
If you came up in the 80s, just in that atmosphere, how we see Brooklyn today is extremely different than we know of right now,
Right.
And I give thanks every day that we had what we had and the village that we have, and we continue to bring that lineage on with our children.
Agree totally. Kim, how about you? I mean, because I think you still are over there.
Yes, I'm still in Flatbush. You guys tell everyone our business. digress. No, there it is a difference from growing up. We were way more respectful than the lovely children nowadays. Yes, we had more adults looking out for us back in the days, and like everybody was your mother or knew your mother and father and was going to tell if you was doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing.
Yep.
You tried to keep on a straight line. Well, I was with my cousins growing up, so I was never really alone. So I have my big cousins and I have my cousins that were under me and same age as me. We were going back and forth to 399, so it was a little different. We had
a brother. Remember, you have a brother?
I thought you said my older brother. I said yes, my older. I said my older cousin.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, I was at 399 before I really went there. My mother was a school nurse. And my brother went there first, and I was there at all times thinking that, I'm going to 399, just walking around, getting my pizza. Well, you got to get pizza because I ain't had no teeth then, but I got other things that I could chew. Shut up, Chaya.
Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm. But it was definitely a family, and we were there until 7, 8 o'clock at night. And it's like, okay, so why is she still at school? Oh no, we have dance practice. We making costumes. We doing this. We doing that. So it was just.
Yeah, they had the parent shows.
We had
like the PTA shows. They always had.
We had some of everything. So it was fun. It was fun. So if it was a bad neighborhood, you couldn't tell by me that it was a bad neighborhood because we never was. Nobody ever bothered us.
True.
Nobody ever bothered us. So we were very happy. I don't want to take up everybody's time.
I can't. Lamar.
For me, we were raised to have respect. Like Kim said, everybody knew our parents. Everyone looked out for us. So we was kind of in our own world. Yes, growing up in the 80s was rough, but crime didn't really bother us. It's just, once you got into PS 399, it's like that was our gate of security, no matter what happened.
Yeah.
We was well protected. I remember, sometimes the alarm would go off. They said someone jumped the fence. They shut us in, locked down the school, but we were safe. So anytime you went there every morning, it was just a building that protects you while, growing up from, like you said, from staying late till 7 p.m., like latchkey, as Shemika said, we had latchkey, we had assembly, performances to prepare for, dance class, name it, we had it, PTA meetings. So it was a great time to grow up in the 80s, I must say. Kids that's growing up now didn't get to experience that.
Shay?
Well, we were always at school.
Yes, you guys were.
In no time, we weren't at school. We were there all day and all night. Our mom started off as the PTA president and then started teaching. So it was just like we were always at 399. We lived there. I didn't know a time to not be there.
Yeah, it was just kind of like when you go to church and your mother have you in church every day of the week, and you just like right. Steve always be like, I'd rather go to hell. You know what I mean? We were in school so much. Like, we got in trouble in school. We would do all kinds of mischievous stuff, going through the complexes, going up and down the floors, playing in the elevator, going in the basement,
Well, I'm telling you, I never knew I was supposed to go to class. I was like, what? When I first started, it was like, so that now you're in kindergarten, you have to stay in the classroom. I'm like, no, I'm going to go downstairs. I want to go to the nurse's office. I'm going to see Miss Robinson, say hi to Miss Patterson. I'm just going to go through they was like, no. So this is class now. And you got to stay still. Class. I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this. I can't run the hallways.
Miss Kennedy's office, when I first started, was the office we went to when we didn't want to go to class. We would always get tea. Like, okay,
not tea.
Yes, we did. We had tea. We thought we were grown because we had tea.
Oh, Father.
And she used to be like, listen, it's time to go to class. What's class? So we used to be like, what's class? So we used to always, can we go to the bathroom? You know how the kids do. Can we go to the bathroom? But the bathroom was right down the hall, but we somehow ended up on the first floor, right there in that corner office all the time.
Yep, that PTA room. It was the PTA room in the back.
Yeah, that room.
Somehow how we got there.
Changed.
Yeah, so that's where, growing up, that's our thought process. I know it has, evolved since then, but, at PTA room at the bottom was where we went to run.
Yes, that was our saving grace. That was the saving grace back in the day. Well, since it's Black History Month, and we are experiencing Black history on a whole new level, because now, we always knew that it was in, but now being black is in, and it's trending. We're trending. Okay.
Right.
So
we've been black.
We always knew that we was the bomb. They just kept catching on. They just catching on. So one thing that I could say about growing up in 399 is that we were so blessed because we were fed stories and traditional, practices that are synonymous with our culture, with African culture, and just Black culture. And we were fed this on a daily basis. Like, we did a show a few months ago where we were talking about, we celebrated Black Solidarity Day. We did rites of passage. We did African dance. It was just so blackety black. And it was that. And a lot of schools, I think now they would probably be brought up on charges, or
we ain't gonna talk about the beatings. We're
not going to even talk about beating, but I'm talking about learning about our ancestry and the historians and the surgeons and the inventors, and we just got all of that all the time. We didn't just have most schools, they do Black history, or you learn about Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks,
and that's about it.
And that's the end of what your Black experience is like. But for us, being Black was cool.
Definitely.
I can honestly say that I didn't know about racism like that when I was in elementary school. I didn't experience it.
You're right.
Because we had white teachers.
Yeah, we had. I mean, I can pinpoint a teacher who was down with it, because I'm in education now, and a lot of the teachers who are are white, they think that we're teaching our children a little early, about certain things. So, when they see, they can't take the slavery, they can't take what's going on, they can't take the whipping. But I knew very early on that Miss Case, who was our teacher back in 399, she was Irish. Now, she would get her when Irish, eyes were smiling in, but she knew.
Right.
She was like the Bernie Sanders white woman. Right. You understand?
Bernadine.
Yeah, pretty much. She knew that this was the caliber. And I think that also comes from administration. When you have a vision,
right,
and the administration trickles down that vision,
right,
then it's okay. You understand. And you should, look around you, look where you're teaching. So you have to understand that, teaching the children about self is how we're going to be able to get going in this, crazy society that we're in today. So that is something that definitely came from 399. It was always that inspirational or empowering before we went to class, during lunchtime.
Right.
It was never a time where we weren't empowered by something.
Right.
Even if it was our own teachers, because remember, our teachers were also in the arts. So and them bringing their artistic abilities to us showed us how we can, push forth in our communities. So
Shamika, let me piggyback on that for you and Kim as educators, because you both went on to be educators. Well, you and Shana too. But you strayed away from the path.
Yeah.
You know, you strayed from the path.
What happened, Shana? You left.
I went to the criminal justice reform. I went to criminal justice.
She strayed from the path.
Criminal justice reform.
But to piggyback on what Shemika was saying, as educators, do you feel that if you have an administration that is pro-Black as far as how they lead, do you feel that it then trickles down to the teachers that are non-Black to now do their research on Blackness so that they can be well-versed in the things that are related to the kids in the school?
You want me to go first or Kim? You just heard from me.
Whoever. Y'all tackle it.
I definitely, everything falls under the administrative vision. Regardless if an administrator is a silent person and allows their teachers to teach, that is the important part. So my big thing is just let me teach. You know, it's not only about teaching to test, teaching to do this. Allow me to teach the children so that that child can be a whole part. It's definitely from the administrative view and it trickles down. And, you know, some people you'll be surprised who come to the neighborhoods, you know, the saving graces, whoever they are, because I'm very candid. I'm a candid individual. The people who come, they think they come to our neighborhoods for a stop and shop, and then, you know, they're out because they can't handle the situation. So the saving gracers have to understand, you know, that this is where they are and this is what we are. If you were at home, put yourself in your, you know, predicament. When did you learn your history? You know, I live in a Hasidic community and they learn from the time they're out the womb what the situation is. Exactly. And it's, you know, when is it too, you know, too strong to teach? I don't think it's ever too strong to teach your children. There's always a teachable moment. When we walk outside, it's a teachable moment. When you see something that's incredible, it's a teachable moment. So it's definitely an administrative duty for them to come down and let them know, listen, you're in a population here, so we're going to also teach our children the diversity because they're going to come in contact with it, but they're going to know who they are before they come in contact with that diversity, so that when they have that diversity, it's not a scary situation.
Exactly. They're used to it.
Well, I think back then it was just like, I'm here, the kids are Black, I have to learn it. It wasn't like a thing. It was just the thing that they did. It came with the territory. So it didn't seem forced.
Yeah, because the non-Black teachers that were in the school,
I didn't really.
You didn't think of them as
that they were
like white. You know,
right.
Like Miss Tremarky or Miss Zuckerberg. You didn't think of them like they were white.
Right.
It was just like they're our teachers. Because they were so ingrained into the process. It was just like, I love you too, Miss Zuckerberg. You know? You know?
Very much, Mr. Grassini, the art teacher.
He was right. I forgot about
Mr. Hayes, I think, came later.
Mr. Hayes,
Mr. Hayes, he came later. So yeah, they just blended right in. So they knew, what type of children they was going to deal with.
Right. Mr. Hayes had a nice ponytail in the back. You could tell he was. You could tell.
But they knew how to deal with a Black school.
Yeah.
Well, as working where I'm working at an alternative school, my principal is very on top of it. It's all about the culture of the students, which are African American and Hispanic, and that's basically, we do what we want to do in lessons. Is basically whatever you want to teach that they still get the skill from in English. We teach. We got Langston Hughes. We got Tupac Shakur, and my co-teacher is a very, very nice white man. And we are on top of what we need to do. He understands like the population and where you came to work at. It's basically if you don't understand where you are and who the population you work with, that's when you have a problem. But she lets them know before they even come into the school, like, this is the population we have. These are the kids we're dealing with. These are kids who are struggling. These are kids who are kicked out of their regular high school. These are kids who may not have a mother and father at home, may not only have grandma, may only have stepfathers, may only have foster parents, may not even have anybody, basically. So if you feel like you can't work with these kids, it's not the place for you. There is going to be violence. Sorry to say, there are gangs going on in the schools. This is the population we're working. We're trying to break it down. We're trying to get them to understand what education is about. But this is basically the population that you're working with. So if you don't understand, or if you can't comprehend, then this is not the place for you. She tells you that before you even at the interview. So basically, it's like, okay, if walking into these doors, you know that this is what you're dealing with, and it doesn't make it any easier, but at least okay, this is what I have to work with. This is what I have to try to figure out. This is how I'm going to try to engage the kids. Books people that look like them, books that they can understand, books that they can relate to, because they just, Anne Frank, lovely reading, but my kids couldn't relate to that. And there were concepts that they could understand, but it's like, okay, what is this? So we had to bring in things that coldest winter ever, midnight. We had to bring in things that they understand, relate to, that we could still teach the skill where they could learn and go take the regents and pass it.
Wow.
That's how we had to do it. And our principal did not have any problem with it. It was culturally responsive. Every day we should teach this and culturally responsive. How is this culturally responsive? How do the kids relate to them? How do they think that this is going to help them in their life at some turn? That's what we try to do at our school. It's not easy because we do have a difficult population, but we try our best. That's all you can do.
True. You go, girl. Over here doing the coldest winter ever. Like, whoa.
Well,
you call it Tupac?
We listen. It was like, okay, so we had to send home some. We had to send us. So this is what we're gonna be reading, guys. And we didn't read the whole thing. We didn't go through everything. But I'm like, okay, so how is your comfortability with this, that, and that? But the kids' words just coming in, and I'm like, excuse me, you not home? Wait, what's that language about? And then, I'm sorry. So trust me, we did explain what the book, how it relates, but they loved it. And let me tell you something, when they had to write their argumentative essay on it, they knew what they were talking about. They hit everything that had to be hit. And it was a book that they could relate to, but they also learned the skill from it. So if it had to be something that we wouldn't normally see in college, but as long as they learn what they needed to learn, that's what we try to use.
Right.
Great.
That's what we try to use. Just like in dance, when, even though you had two left feet, let me tell you, Miss Kennedy, let me tell you something. If you didn't excel in academics, and I struggled in academics, and I ain't excel in dancing either, but I thought I did. So
you couldn't tell you wasn't talented.
If there's one thing that you look forward to in school, like if that made you come, then you were there though, right? And that helped you. Okay, if you don't do this in class, then you can't dance. You can't go to dance. All right, so you make sure you pay attention. You make sure you did what you need to do because you wanted that part. You wanted to be able to go downstairs at 1 o'clock when she called you over to speak. You'd be like, okay,
that's right.
We're having it today.
I look forward to that.
It was like you wanted to do that, so it was like, okay, I'm going to school because you know what, maybe I'm not so great at academics, but you know what, I might can dance. Miss Kennedy's gonna put me on the stage. Miss Kennedy's gonna do this. I'm gonna get a costume. Something. It made you want to come.
You didn't have to try out. You just knew you was in.
Yeah.
Try out.
We didn't have auditions.
No.
Do y'all remember having any auditions in 399?
Nope.
I don't remember any auditions.
What we had an audition for Oliver Twist, the play that never got put on, Oliver Twist. I think that was led by Miss Chamarki. I think she led that. She and Miss Thompson. I believe that, yeah. Because I remember, so this one guy said he was gonna get the part of Oliver Twist. I end up getting it.
You are Oliver.
He was like, "Oh yeah, I got that part." I was like, "Okay," and I got that part. I was like, "Okay." Know nothing about Oliver Twist, no, but we never did the play. Never did the play.
Wow.
I don't know why.
399 evolved too, also because you didn't know who was talented, but I bet you by the time we finished, we knew everybody had something
that had some talent.
It didn't matter what it was. It's like, okay, you be back here, be that flower on the wall, but whatever it was, you were in. That's the confidence that was built.
Right.
That's how we got out and we moved forward in 399. And
from the
exposed us everything. Miss Kennedy exposed us to everything that we needed to be exposed. I mean, what was a 10-year-old child knowing about Grover, Washington? When I swear when we went up, talking about that, I was talking about that to someone yesterday. I was like, please, who were you exposed to? Do you know who I was exposed to back then?
You were dancing and women.
I was Sweet Thing. Do you know?
Sweet Thing. Yes. My name.
Yes. I was like, these little things. And to that day, you go into another genre and you learn how to teach. Like, as Kim was saying, you take that book that reaches the children. Listen, I teach 6th grade, but I still teach, Tupac Shakur has a great plethora of poems. And I start with The Rose from Concrete. I may start with something else, whatever it is, because I teach in Brownsville. So, and I make them know, just because you are in Brownsville or you live in Brownsville does not mean that you cannot compete with someone who is in Brooklyn Heights or Park Slope.
Right. That's right.
Have that mentality. So just from that ethics alone, learning those, those groundations that we learned in 399, and just having that open space, like Kim said, you may not have been the best at your academics, but that is where you foster the entire child, understanding that both sides of the brain needs to be stimulated to learn. So without, arts, there is no academics. If you teach it properly, that they're both needed in your life, whatever you do.
Well, I know I used to look to Shemika as like this goddess.
We all did when we were little.
She had the solo dances to Believe in Yourself. And like when she did that last split at the end and the hand was up, I just thought that was like everything.
What year did you graduate, Shemika?
Oh dear, are you really trying it?
She was the first class.
I'm class of 91, so I'm just trying to figure. I believe you were there when I was there.
First graduated class was 86.
86? Oh, I just started kindergarten. After. Okay. I just started kindergarten. No, I'm lying. No, I was first grade. Okay.
Yes, but
I was first grade.
Yeah. Thank you. Trust me. Listen. I was one of those ones. I need to get into everything. That was just me.
Right.
That's always into something because it was instilled in me. Like my parents are artists.
Right.
As we trickled down, my daughter is an artist. My siblings are artists. So the art just trickles, and because they gravitated, that school really pushed the arts.
Definitely
not knowingly, like it was like my home. That was the place to be. Who's taking children to the Governor's Island for them to perform? Who's doing that? Who's doing or taking us outside? I mean, the 399 players were known.
Yeah, around Brooklyn. That's right, around the city.
If you were in Brooklyn, you knew who we were once we hit that stage. Once Heartbeat went on, that was it. We had the whole crowd. But you understand, just those little things, encompass that village, which was extremely important then. If you teachers, you could still do it now. Like I remember doing it. I would not do it again right at this point in time. But if we couldn't get home, the teacher was taking us home. The teacher, I'll wait here with you until y'all know. Or where do you live? Who's getting in the teacher's car today? We're not doing, in certain aspects. If you have that rapport with a parent, you have that rapport. But it was like a no-brainer. Oh, you okay? Whatever, right? So
Yeah, we wasn't taking kids to the precinct like that.
Nope.
If their parents didn't come pick them up.
You trust the parents. I remember one trip, I think it was our senior trip. The bus broke down in Philly. I think Philly. I'm not sure where, but we came home late. And my mother ended up, we took a cab, dropped somebody off. But nowadays, no one's not doing that. It was just, parent not there, take them to the precinct. We're not staying.
They will watch kids walk. They will watch kids walk to the train station or walk to the bus while you in the car with just you and your child. But it's a different atmosphere now because you don't want to take a child now because you don't know if they're gonna be like, oh, she tried to touch me or he tried to touch, so you don't know. Yeah. But it wasn't. I don't know. Is it the milk or the juice nowadays?
I'm sure
it's totally different.
You're right.
I think it's who you're with because I have had the opportunity. I had some doozies, but my groundation for when I started, I'm in my 21st year. When I started educating in education, I've had the opportunity to be in some great schools where we had leaders like, and I'm in one right now, which is, I'm very proud to say that, from administration down and even teachers, because even your peers have to be on board. It's not, just you by yourself, because it's no island. But understanding that you have to take those risks in this particular day and age because we're going to lose the children. That's where it is that if you don't take the risk, you will lose the child.
Right.
So it's it's funny that it takes a pandemic for us to become essential. Right? Because we as teachers we were never essential. Right. And all of a sudden, when
y'all essential now,
parents had to come and
when you gotta keep your kids home.
No, your child is not doing your work.
Wait.
No, you don't know what you're talking about. But then when you're home with your child, now you get where we were coming from.
You're all right.
Right.
You're all right. Like I said, a lot of parents can't stay around their kids this pandemic. They're like, who are you? Can't be around for hours. Like, wait a minute.
But the thing about it is,
the teacher was never lying.
The parents now, like we talking about how things are so different. We're the parents of the children that we're talking about, though.
We are.
We're the age of the. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So where did we go wrong?
Well, we didn't go wrong. It's just that I guess we knew how to play the game with our teachers and parents. Now it's just being done to us, and I guess we probably seem to have forgotten we were that age. We did the same thing, but did it better. We've done it better. Now that the kids are doing it, we don't know how to deal with it. Like, wait a minute, hold on.
Because our parents were teachers, or at least had relationship with teachers, they knew to tell their kids, this teacher is the authority figure when I'm not there. This is mommy, daddy when I'm not there, because they knew the teachers weren't going to do anything to them, to the kids. They trusted. Nowadays, the kids don't trust, like the parents don't trust the teachers. They don't know anything about teachers. They don't want to have anything to do with it. Like, that's your job. You stick to your job. You do that. I just take them and I feed them and I clothe them and that's it. And they don't realize that, no, your job doesn't stop there. Right. You are supposed to help them with what we give them to do. Exactly. And it's even worse for my kids, because my kids are basically, it's from 16 to 21. So they are basically grown. The parents are like, why are you calling me? I had parents be like, so why are you calling me? And I'm like, wow, I thought you was my, listen, she don't even live with me. Okay. Wow. She live with her boyfriend. I don't know why you calling me. I'm like, sorry, have a nice day, click. So it's like, so when
you got a different situation. Shamika's kids is in 6th grade. Shamika's kids,
she got the babies, right?
Well, but you just I'm gonna digress on that, because there's some of them things the little kids can teach you that we didn't know back when we were growing up in the 6th grade. But I think the best thing that I've told my parents is that you were their first teacher. I'm not their first teacher.
That's
you are
right.
their first teacher. I said, so whatever you see, 9 times out of 10, when I meet the parent, I'm like, oh, It's not the child.
I
get it.
You understand now.
Then when I understand, when I see that, okay, I got to do a whole nother. I'm going.
Right. You got to read.
Yeah. I'm not even going in that route with you because I know you a phony. You say one thing when you come see me, and then it's something else that's going on in the home. So basically, if you see that the children are more respectful to the teacher than they are to the parent, is because if you really look at it, we spend a great deal of time with the children or their child. So it's like we have to reteach them how to, you can't disrespect your parent, not in front of me. I don't care what you do at home, but you're not going to do that when you're sitting in front of me. So that's the basis. Telling the parents that, yes, I am their teacher and it is my job, but you are the first teacher. You're the first thing they come in tune with. So
do you think that the laws that were passed with the education system and the criterias that they hold you to, or the standards that they hold you to now as teachers, kind of cripple you as far as disciplining? Because discipline was a part of us learning back in the day.
Right.
So do you think that, now that, everything is against the law, you can't whip your kids, you can't, it's like a total different makeup when you go into school, because now everything is, you have to teach them towards a test, or you can't say this word can't be done, this is offensive, this is just like everything is like everything, you got to be politically correct.
Only we have to be politically correct, not the kid. They can curse you out from A to Z, they can hit you because they know that nothing is going to happen to them. It's like a free fall, because they know, okay, so I can fight in school and next week I'll be back. Like I can curse my teacher out, and then next week that same day I'm back in the classroom. And so now now you're taking everything away from me. How do you expect me to teach this child now after they cursed me out? And obviously something should have been done. There should have been some type of discipline. Right. Oh, don't do that. Just go back to the class. And they come back in the classroom looking at me like, well, I'm never, it's never happened to me because, I've never got cursed out really. My, co-teacher has, but it's basically like nothing is done to them. They know that it's okay. They can do basically anything and nothing happens to them. So when you have a student like that in front of you, it's like, okay, what can I do? Because they already know what I say is not going to happen. If I say I want them removed, they know they'll be back in the next few minutes or the next day. So it's kind of like a free fall, and it's hard to teach a kid. If you don't gain their love and respect, it's really hard. But once you have that, it's only so much. They won't disrespect you like that. They won't. But you have to break those walls first. You have to let them know, okay, so they may have said that, but don't think that you can talk to me later or get help from me until we rectify what was done. Because you're not going to curse me out. You're not going to curse my co-teacher out and think it's okay, because it's not okay. Whether they say you can come back into the classroom or not, if you don't set those rules in your classroom, then you're going to lose all, you will have chaos. So it's kind of like we are on our own. And don't let you say one word out. Oh, they said I didn't do my homework, but they said it in a way that hurt my feelings. Oh, okay, we're gonna investigate. That's what they're. It's really ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy. I'm glad I wasn't a teacher, because I don't know. I probably would have hurt a couple of people.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
I'm glad
many times I thought about being a teacher. I thought about it, and then sometimes I say, you know what? I might just end up not being a teacher again.
You might end up in jail or news.
I have, me and my fraternity, we have mentored, individuals, groups, so far.
And what fraternity is that?
Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
I was waiting for it.
Just wanted him to do
it. We haven't, dealt with bad children. We've said they may have some issues, but not to the point where they jump up in our face, ready to fight or anything like that, which we're grateful of. But
I tell you,
I take my hat off to you teachers.
If you were teaching as a Black man, let me tell you the amount of you would get respect. You would. It depends on who's in front of them. It really does. Mm-hmm. Because we have a lot of Black teachers at my school, and the tone is totally different. Like the kids, I think they are like, oh my God, like I could do that. So it's like it's a difference. It is really different. If you ever watch, like if you could sit in the classroom and watch, which I've been able to do, because we sometimes observe, and I'm like, what? This kid that when he come to my classroom, act a fool, I can get him down, but I'm like, in this class is like a total different person. Wow. And it's an African American teacher, a Black man in front of him, like letting telling him what's up, and he's like.
But it has to be a strong Black man. Lamar would be a good, because he'd be a strong Black. But those little timid
when you get the ones you can push out, right? It depends on who you can push out, right? But it depends on the type of person you are, because you can get them. You can get the toughest kid. I'm telling you, if you really if you're stern and still show them that I'm here for you and I do care, they will fight somebody else to tell them that you're gonna respect this teacher. They will. Okay. They will.
So getting the respect of any children, getting the respect of any child, it is through knowing background, breaking down those barriers. So if you don't know me, a child basically wants to know that you are going to be consistent in their life. That's not what, teaching comes second, but you here today and gone tomorrow, I have that in my home life. If I know that you are that individual that is consistent and is going to be there for me, and every time I come to school, that's that haven where I'm going to tell you, you can't do that, because I could do whatever I want to do at home. But that is what we're missing in the educational system. We're missing our Black men in the educational system, because they need that. The kids need that sternness. They need to see the figure of education. A lot of them don't see that, that we can move forward. We have another look, because Miss Valentine, if I wanted to do a house visit, I could put on a hoodie. I look different now. But I have a hoodie and a cap that I can put on, and I have Timberlands. So you see me in a whole nother light.
Brooklyn,
going that way if I have to do that, because I tell them in a minute, I am not scared, and I think that is what it is being in Brownsville. Like, ding dong, Miss Valentine, she wasn't playing, she was great. So it's that stability. And then when they see that you are going to be there, that's when the barrier comes down, because when you, especially if you just there, it's like, oh, you're nobody. You're not going to be here tomorrow. Once I act up, let me see what you're going to do. That's a test. That's what all children do. We did it. We tested.
Right. Yeah.
I remember
how you can push the envelope.
So that's the biggest thing, is the consistency in a child's life. That's the biggest thing. Then you can teach.
And I think for us at the school, like, even though it wasn't our teacher, like, we still had the custodian who was a part of our learning. It was the security who was a part. So it was the lunch monitors. It was like
the office, people in the office.
It was just a community thing.
Miss Payne, Johnny.
Miss Payne. I saw Mr. Markey at Miss Payne's funeral.
But they knew your name.
Yes.
So everybody knew every kid.
Everybody knew everybody.
Knew there from
and
the
they knew your parents too.
The security is going to say, hi, Shemika.
Right.
You go this way to, go in the office. Oh, it's Shemika. Hold on. So they knew
they knew who you were.
And you took the time. That's how we know. You know who you are. Oh, that's so-and-so. 9 times out of 10, your parents were known anyway. They knew who your parents were. But they definitely, as soon as you came through those doors, you definitely knew, I know I'm just home again. It's not a foreign place.
Exactly. Yep.
Stay tuned for scenes from part 2 of our very special episode. It takes a village. Cause you could be anywhere, and then they start singing, lift up your voice and sing, and people are words. I'm just like, how y'all don't know the words?
You don't know the words.
National anthem.
Hurts my heart every time.
Right?
Hard. I just sit there. I'm like, what did you just say?